Hello, party people! I'm currently in a sweatshirt because Riyadh has decided to get quite chilly. This morning it was like 40, so that's awful. I'm sorry I took so long to do this one, so let's jump right in. We've got a lot to talk about. Okay, immediately jumping into where we left off, Robert and I went to this thing called the Boulevard. There are pictures. It's super cool. It's like New York City, like Times Square, but they like built it and it was supposed to be temporary, but then they're gonna leave it because it's so cool and it's drawn so many people. So there's these different pods of like places. So there's like this whole area that looks like the Swiss Alps, and so it fake snows on you the whole time. And there are these like outdoor rides, and they did ice skating, and they have like hot chocolate. And the night times are cool enough to where you're not like sweating with hot chocolate. And it's really cute. And then there's another one that's called like Riyadh Studios, and so it looks like Universal Studios. So you can like play like a fair, what we would think of as like a fair game, or there was a restaurant that I really wanted to go to, and it was like a haunted restaurant. So like all the food was like murder, death based. So like you could get like a decapitated head, and it was really just like mush or whatever. I don't know. We didn't get to go in, but it did look really nice. And then there was like a whole shopping district, and there was like a video game-ish, like anime district, and there was a technology district. There was the garden district was all for food, and so they built this like globe of like plants. Like it's just this huge garden. That was weird. It cut me off. Anyway, it was this big globe of plants, and it had all these different restaurants, Cinnabon, obviously. And and then there was a fashion, like a shopping fashion district. So it was really cool. But we went to the like Riyadh Studios, and we passed this like indoor like 40 ride, and Robert was like, "Oh, let's do this." So we went and we did it. And it was a TV show that must be super popular here, like in Saudi Arabia. It was in Arabic, but it had like American English subtitles for us to read. And it was like the whole thing was like these like Arabic people, Saudi people, I guess, kidnapped, to the best of my understanding, they kidnapped a blonde CEO from America who had like a swoop, and brought him to Saudi Arabia to like show him. He owned Six Flags. And they wanted to show him their roller coaster and get him to invest in their roller coaster. So they like kidnapped him and brought him. And at one point during the ride, he like falls out of the like cart that they're in. And so the guy's like, go get him. So like the guy runs, and then he comes back and brings like a different blonde-haired white guy. And the guy's like, no, that's not him. It's someone else. And the guy goes, oh, sorry. All the Americans look alike. And it was really funny. But Robert and I were the only like Americans/white people in the whole ride, so we were both kind of like, oh, sorry. It was really funny, and then they made like some cultural comments that tickled us. But there was one part where it like sprayed water. It was 4D interactive or whatever, so like we're wearing goggles and it sprayed water, and I was at the height where it like hit me like right in the eyes. So I was like blind, and Robert just looked like he had been sweating, like he'd done like a race or something, because it kept hitting him in the chest. Was funny. But then we went over to like the Swiss Alps spot, and they had this like the slide that you get in a sack at the South Carolina State Fair. You slide down in the sack. They had that, but you were on an inner tube, so it was like snow tubing without the snow. But it was huge. So you got to go 3 times. There was one that was curvy and one that was just a straight shot, and you had to go up on like a conveyor belt that they do at like fancy ski slopes, where it like slowly takes you up. And it was like a 3.5-minute conveyor belt ride. That's how tall the thing was. And that was a lot. I mean, we were both like kind of screaming. That was a lot of fun. But they didn't let you take your phone, I guess because it could fall out and get crushed. But I wish I could have taken a video. And then we ended up leaving that, and I think we ate dinner somewhere. I don't remember. It was a really cool spot. Saudi did a good job of making it like fun for all ages. And it was like at night. So there was a nighttime activity to do. But it was nice. There was a whole thing that Robert wouldn't let me go in. Ugh, rude. That was like you could take selfies with dogs. So it was like 15 dogs in this like dog park that were like hooked to little things, and you could go take selfies. And Robert wouldn't let me, which is so rude. So that's Anyway, then we had a Turkish embassy event where it was like Turkish Independence Day or something, or like a spring festival. So it had a bunch of different countries near Turkey, like Uzbekistan and Kyrgyzstan and all these different places. And they had like a little Turkish structure that you could go in and see. Looks like very tribal. It's like a hut-looking thing. There's a picture of Robert in it. And they had cotton candy, so naturally I ate like 15 cotton candies. But we met some of the people that Robert works with, some people from the UN and their respective significant others, and it was a lot of fun. And then one of like Robert's not really boss, but kind of boss, was like, "Let's go on a walk." So it was Robert and I, and then someone who works for the UN and his girlfriend, who's a lawyer. She's really BA, like hardcore. She's cool. And then the guy, and he was like, "Let's go on a walk." So we ended up going on like a 3-hour walk just around the diplomatic quarter. But the whole event was quite nice. There was like dancing. I think there's a video of people dancing, and Robert and I got like a nice bowl from it. And the food was okay. It was nice. The ice cream was trash. It was sour. It was not good. But we did end up seeing those people again. Our friends. We have friends. We went to I talked about going to the art museum that I did not like, but Robert loved. He loves himself some modern art. But there was an event there, and so I went to dinner. I made friends. Okay, hold on. It's getting confusing. There was an event there that was like a DJ rapping. He's 17, but he was really good. I mean, he's really good. His music's good. His mom is Colombian, and his dad is Saudi, and he grew up in like France. None of it made sense. But he was really good. And one of Robert's friend's girlfriend's roommate loved this rapper, was like obsessed. So Robert went to the event while I was eating dinner with friends that I made at the compound, and then I met them there. Like I Ubered over and met them there and listened to this nice DJ guy, and we all hung out there. But at the place, Robert had like scoped it out for me because I don't really. It's like a 30-minute drive, and it was going to be over in an hour. Like it's not very efficient. But Robert was like, "No, look, they've got popcorn, they've got bathrooms, they've got free water, and they've got ice cream. Like, they've got your food, they've got people. We won't stand super close to the music." And so he had, like, mapped it all out. Like, he knew what, like, this is going to get you there. I'll send you an Uber. So, like, he sent me an Uber, so I didn't have to do it. And I got there, and I was like, all right, I'm here. Like, let's do ice cream. Like, I gotta get energy. Because it was, like, 9:45 at this point. Because I'd been with my friends for 3 hours. Because I had friends. So we went to get ice cream, and it had 2 flavors. Pink and black. And I was like, okay, well, pink is definitely what we're eating, regardless of the flavor. And then we asked what the black flavor, pink was strawberry, and it was okay. We asked what the black flavor was, and he said something, and we were both like, oh, okay. And then we ended up asking Robert's friends, and they were like, it's charcoal. I'm like, what? It's charcoal? No. They said, it's just like charcoal. It's vanilla with like charcoal in it. That still doesn't sound appetizing to me. So I'm very glad we stuck to strawberry, which was delicious. But I did, like I said, I met friends at the pool. I was sitting there, and I finished the Crescent City series. It's another series that I read. So I read A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas, and then I read Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas. I heard the other 2 books. And Emma Arith and I, shout out to Emma Arith, we were texting about the ending. So I was like, oh my God. And I was outside tanning, just weeping over the ending of this book, and it was so good, and it just was everything I wanted it to be, and I'm just crying, and I'm happy, so I'm like laugh crying, and I look like a serial killer, a straight up serial killer, and this sweet fella who sat down next to me, he's 30, he's bald, he just, after a while, like his friend walked away, and he just looked over, and he said, "Ma'am, are you alright?" I was like, no, I just finished this book. And it wasn't even satisfying because it was on like the iPad, so I couldn't like show him the book and be like, look, it's so good. So I was like, iPad, I've read, it's a good book. Like stammered. And then we got to talking. His name is Kirk. He flies planes. For a hot second, I was like, okay, he's a weather pilot. Like, that seems sketchy. And then he started talking, and I was like, oh no, he is a weather pilot. Like that, he's not like a spy. Like, he is a weather pilot. And he lives in Fargo, North Dakota. And then this woman and this man sat down next to him. They're in their 50s. I'm learning all this information, like real time. And she's like, oh, hi, I'm Wendy. And I was like, oh, hi, Melly B. And so she and I started talking while the men started talking. She's like, this is my husband, Drew. They were from Canada, eh? He literally said, eh. He was like, oh, where are you from, eh? I was like, you've got to be from Canada. And then I was like, oh, me, I'm from South Carolina. And he was like, yes, you are. I was like, oh, okay. Okay. But Wendy and I got to talking, and she is a secondary English teacher. I'm like, oh my God, I'm an English teacher from middle school. So we gabbed about that. And then the next day when I was tanning, she came out and sat next to me for like 2 hours, and we talked. And she was like, come to dinner. So I went to dinner, and she was like, by the way, I leave for Canada tomorrow morning. I'm like, fart sack. So she left for Canada, but we still text. We're friends. But I'm friends with all, like, at the dinner I met, like, all the other pilots. So her husband, Drew, is one of the pilots as well. And so I met all the other pilots and engineers or whatever for this, like, company. And they're my friends now. And so we sit out by the pool. And 2 days ago, Monday, I think. No, I don't remember what day it was. It might have been Monday or Sunday. I was out tanning, and Kirk, the bald one, and Jake, one of the guys that I met at dinner, came and we're sitting. We were all talking, and then Kirk left. And so Jake and I were talking. And neither of us meant to be there for long. I was like, oh, yeah, like, I'm going in. I don't want to get, like, a sun rash or anything. He's like, yeah, I'm headed to work out. But then we started talking about Harry Potter, and, I can go on a tangent for hours. And it ended up being 2 hours, and I got, like, horribly sunburned. And so did he. So we were like, all right, we got to start wearing sunscreen. But his birthday, he started talking about something in school. And I was like, oh, we did that in school. I said, we must be close to the same age. And he was like, I guess so. I said, how old are you? He said, 26. I said, I'm 26. I said, are you in 1995 or 1996? Because, Robert's still technically 26. And he was like, oh, 96 all the way. I was like, ooh, I bet I'm older. What month were you born? He was like, February. I was like, me too. I said, okay, what day? He said, the 7th. I said, I was born the 8th. What are the odds? So we both started freaking out. I was like, what is going on? And my dad would say the odds are 100%. But still, it was wild. It was wild. I was so excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're both Aquarius. Freaking out, whatever. He was really nice. So we ended up staying out there. And then Robert went out after me on Tuesday. One day that I didn't go out. I was like, I'm toasty. I don't want to go. He went out, and he came back an hour later. And he was like, hey, I met these pilots. And apparently they talked for like 30 minutes. And then finally they were like, said something about being pilots. And Robert was like, oh yeah, like, where are you from? And he was like, oh, Fargo. And then Robert was like, skirt, I know you. Like, you're friends with my wife. And then we all sat out together yesterday. No, 2 days ago, because yesterday was cold. I don't know. All the timelines get confusing. And then our Uber driver, our friend we made, Bendra, the Uber driver, he was like, I want to take you to an authentic, Arabic meal, Saudi Arabian meal. And we were like, all right, cool. So he took us to this place called Naj Village, which is funny because Kirk, bald guy, told us, he was like, oh yeah, go to Naj, like, you'd love it. And I was like, all right. And I completely forgot what he said. I was like, okay, and then lost it. But we got there, and I was like, hey, this is where he told us to go. And it was like this very authentic, like, there's pictures, and it's like a square, but then middle's carved out, and so you like walk around the edges, and there's seating on the floor, or you can go to like private rooms. It was 3 stories. It was very nice. It was just very fancy. And I was talking to Dad. A lot of places are outdoor only because there's no need to be indoors because it doesn't rain. So it gets hot, but at that point, it's going to be hot regardless where you go. So it was really yummy. He got us, like, he ordered this, like, family style tray. So it had, like, chicken and rice and lamb and assorted, like, oats, cream oats. And then something called Lebon, whatever. It's like a, like, milk, thick milk. And he was like, drink it. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I mean, I tried most of it, but it was just, the sour milk was not for me. But the chicken was really good. The chicken just cut with a spoon because you only get spoons. He said most of the time you just eat it without silverware, but since we were white, they probably thought we needed silverware. They only gave us spoons though, so eating chicken with a spoon was unique, but it was really delicious. I'm trying to think. I'm looking at my little notes because I get confused sometimes. We did go on a couple more walks with our friends. Around like the DQ, and I think that's kind of everything. We went to dinner with a friend last night. She's really cool. She lives like 10 minutes from here. So, we went on a walk with the guy who used to have Robert's job, and his girlfriend Lal, she's awesome. She and I are both very particular when it comes to eating. She's Egyptian, but she works here as an OBGYN. She wants to go to the UK to do like another program of study. She's very smart. Most of the things she said about her job, I was like, oh, I believe you. Like, you could be telling me lies and I wouldn't know. But she's really cool too. So we're making friends and we're settling in. Robert is actually with friends right now. He is going to Bahrain, the small island country off the east coast of Saudi Arabia. And Dad, if you're wondering, I was looking at the map. Like, Saudi Arabia's here. This is the east, never eat sour worms, east coast. So I wasn't the map, I was looking at the map. Anyway, he's going with a bunch of guys. And what's funny is they were all texting in this like group chat. I think there's 8 of them going. And most of them are Spanish or speak Spanish. And so they're all like texting in Spanish. And then they like switched over to Arabic. And of course, Robert, he 100% can keep up in Spanish. And with Arabic, he can read it and then try to respond to the best of his ability. But the guy who invited him, Faisal, the UN friend, was like, finally put in and was like, dudes, like, we gotta just stick to English. This is killing me. And Robert put in, he was like, he's very proud of himself. I think it's funny too. He was like, I would like to point out that it was not me, the American, who asked to go to English. It was Faisal, who is Arabic but grew up in Switzerland. And everyone started laughing. But so Robert is going on a guy's trip. And I am leaving my taxi picks me up at 2:30 in the morning to jet off to America. I've got an exciting wedding coming up next weekend. Mary Clyde. And so I'm getting all ready. I'm making sure everything is in order here. I know that I'm married to an adult human, but just in case, I've like rewashed the sheets so that they're clean, so they don't need to be washed. I've rewashed his towel. I vacuumed the whole house. I went to the grocery store to stock up on everything he needs. And I'm hoping that we don't move while I'm gone because I just feel like I've got stuff shoved places that will just get left behind. But I don't know. So I'm obviously not taking Blue Bag because Blue Bag lost a wheel. And so I'm bringing back some stuffs and I'm excited. I'm ready to rock and roll. I will be missing Robert's birthday, which is really, really annoying. So if you're watching this and it's before March 28th, write down that Robert Hart's birthday is March 28th and that you should wish him a happy birthday. I want everyone to just bombard him with birthday messages. Okay, well, I think that's it. If I remember something, I will put it at the end. Enjoy the pictures and videos, and I will see you guys after my week in America. Bye! That was the other thing. I knew I forgot something. You'll see videos where everything looks like orange or like it's in a film where they're trying to portray the Middle East as like dingy, so everything's like an orange film. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. If you don't, you'll see 2 videos that everything looks like it's covered in sand. And that's because it is, because we experienced our first true dust storm, and it was insane. And I woke up, and you can't see, I don't know why I'm pointing, but when I wake up, I close the blinds every night. When I wake up, there's like a sliver of white light that's like, oh, it's the morning time. So when I wake up to pee in the middle of the night, I can be like, not yet morning, because I don't see the sliver of light. But this particular morning, I woke up, and the whole room was orange. Like orange. Calvin orange. It was what? Hi, Calvin. It was wild. So we took a video. I like FaceTimed as many people as I could. It was so insane. Everything was covered in sand. There were like sandbanks. People couldn't drive because it was so sandy. We didn't go. Robert, I think it was a weekend because Robert didn't go to work because it was a weekend, and we didn't do anything. We just sat inside because it was so sandy. Okay, that was everything. Okay, bye.
sandstorm.
You usually can see the entire city.
You can see nothing. It's just this yellow wall.
Дерьмо вымей.
Oh look, a cat.
Oh look, a cat. Hey look, a cat. Oh look, a cat. Oh look, a cat. Hey look, a cat. Look at all these cats.
Rather than
Oh look, a cat. Oh look, a cat. Hey look, a cat. Hello. Oh look, a cat. Hey look, a cat. Hey look, a cat. Oh, it's stretching.
Oh yeah.
Okay, bye friend. Hey look, a cat.